It looks like it is 11 a.m., so I will go ahead and call this meeting to order. Can we get a roll call, please?
Lenny Bush,
Here.
Gretchen Knapp,
Here.
Liz Feidel,
Here.
Sydney Zulik,
Here.
Julie Thomas, Galen Cassidy,
Here.
and Mark Bell.
Do we have anyone present with us over Teams?
Everybody's on there, right? Our folks.
Okay. I don't see anybody. In that case, can we move to approval of summary minutes as presented for the meeting of September 26th, 2025?
I so move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of summary minutes as presented for our September 26th, 2025 meeting. Can we get a roll call for the vote? Or I guess all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Great. And in time with the bell. Welcome in. Okay. So just for the vocal record, we have Julie Thomas joining us, Commissioner Julie Thomas. And now we can move on to items number 4, update on food and beverage revenue totals for county and city.
Morning. The cash balance as of today for the county is $2,511,924.67. And the city cash balance as of Monday, October 27th, totaled $18,510,386.58.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the review and approval of the 2024 annual report. I am not connected to the Wi-Fi. My apologies, everybody. I was tasked with the 2024 annual report for FabTech. It is very consistent with last year, just some updated numbers for 2025 monthly revenue and expenditures. And I am so sorry because my computer is not connected to the Wi-Fi. Thank you. You are so awesome. I don't know. Thank you. Okay, so a lot of it is just information that was included in last year's annual report, with the addition of some updates in the 2024 cycle from the CIB in the narrative summary, which can be found on pages 5 and 6. Then there is a 2024 revenue details as distributed, broken down into the total amounts received then by city and county, and for 2024 expenditure details, the county spent $6,000 on the Harrodsburg Heritage Day firework display, and the city spent $600,382 on architecture and engineering services paid to Schmidt Associates, and $384,720 on legal controller communications and owner's rep service paid to the Capital Improvement Board. Does anybody have any questions?
So can that be shared with the group here as an attachment or something?
Yes, it was
Okay.
included in the packet.
Oh, okay. I missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was in the packet.
All right. Sorry. I missed that part.
No problem. I think it went out in a later email
Okay.
with a revised packet.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yes.
Should we note that Mark has arrived?
Oh, yes. And Commissioner Mark Bell is present with us. So now we have perfect attendance.
We got past the parking problem.
Oh,
Well, now I can't find it, but there's a language issue, pretty minor, just grammatical, on page 5. I'm just trying to find it again. The other thing is, I would like to have added to this. There was there was some difficulty because there are a number of restaurants that have both city and county locations. And all of the books are run out of one versus the other, right? And at some juncture last year, and I hope the auditor's office can help us with this, it was determined to just do a flat 90%, 10% split for, clarity and ease for the auditor's office trying to weed through, is this a city, is this a county location? I would like that inserted in the report, just as a reference point, because this becomes a historical document.
Okay.
And I may have missed it, and it may be in here. But I would like that added. And, I don't have the details on the date, but you can kind of see by the split, city-county split, when it started, because it becomes a very clear 10% versus 90%. So I would just like that memorialized in here. And it doesn't even have to be this year's because I don't have the information, but next year is fine. And I'm still looking for the...
Was it in the grammatical or the wording issue you were looking for? I'm wondering if it was the second to last paragraph from the bottom where it says that in 2023, the city continued to receive loan payments, blah, 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 and neither dispersed funds nor request. No, I guess that is right.
No, that
Never
does
mind.
work.
That's
Yeah,
the one.
I remember that one.
I will say I did not see a reason to reinvent the wheel, so I
it's-
used
No, and I think that's the purpose of this, is it becomes a accurate historical record of everything that's happened to date, and then you add in, here's what we've done this year. I can't find it, so it must not be huge. It was a singular plural thing, so.
Okay. To address your other point, would it be all right to just make a note to include it in the
Yeah,
next year's
that'd be
report?
fine.
Great.
That'd be fine. I just don't want it to be missed again. Thank
Totally
you.
get it. Thank you. In that case, is there a motion to approve this report?
Motion to approve.
Can I get a thank you? So we have motion by Commissioner Knapp and a second by Commissioner Bell. Could we please all in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, same sign. Great, thank you. That passes. And now moving on to other discussion items. Revised food and beverage plan for Monroe County, 2026 to 2027. Who is meant to go over that?
What did you want to say, Lahu?
But Commissioner Thomas, you weren't here when they did the vote, though.
I was here.
Like, they did the vote and you walked in.
Okay.
Do we have?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Do we have someone to go over the revised food and beverage plan for Monroe County for 2026 to 2027?
Oh, that's not it. I thought they were asking for the revenue numbers. What are you asking for?
On item 6, other discussion items includes the revised food and beverage plan for Monroe County for 2026 and 2027. I did not add this to the agenda, so I'm not
No, I
sure.
did.
Okay, perfect.
We revised this because the county council decided not to support the nature preserve. as before I even begin with that, I'd like to note that despite the fact that we had a vote and public comment at the previous meeting on both the plans, it's absolutely not legally necessary to do so. This is an advisory body that provides input, but a vote isn't necessary because these plans go through other bodies before they get here. So happy to take comments on it. But what we did is to avoid losing this great gift from the Huntington family of 409 acres. We wanted to ensure that we had the requisite basic preparatory work done so that the public could go to the property and enjoy it, at least minimally.
Did they put it in a deed and file a deed, transfer it to the county?
I would ask the, we have attorneys working with the trust on all of that. But one of the requirements is that we provide basic infrastructure to get the public there safely so they can access the property. And so there are a number of things that need to be addressed. Some of them required by the trust, some of them for safety's sake. There's also an opportunity to create two parking lots, one off of Night Ridge Road 446, the other off of Smith. And to do that, we're also going to go ahead and have, this is all Parks Department, County Parks Department that's providing all of this work. We're going to go ahead and proceed with the dog park as well. But the idea is to have the basic equipment, basic trails, some basic landscaping, the surveys, stormwater reviews, the driveway permits for both streets, Night Ridge and Smith, the basic parking lot structure. But there are a couple of structures on the property itself, and for safety's sake, we're going to be facilitating their removal. And I'm going to be very vague about that because I don't know what that's going to look like yet, because the Historic Preservation Board is still working on it. But we cannot have structures on the property for the safety of the public that are dilapidated, as these are. These are dangerous structures. So that's part of it as well. Yes, so I can give you, and there's a minimal signage, just announcing that this is the nature preserve, Monroe County Nature Preserve, et cetera. What I did to revise the plan, and this was approved yesterday by the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, is that we updated the fund total so that it was more accurate. So there's additional funding listed at the top on this revised plan. We reduced some of the spending out of the fund for the quarry project, and then added in this $905,000 to make it all work. And actually we have, I think it ends up with about, it's a total of the two projects together, $2,455,000, which gives us $15,000 cushion. But of course, every month additional funds are added, so we will be fine. And with all of the questions and lack of certainty over the county's decisions regarding the North Park property for the justice facility, I'm hopeful we can get moving on the quarry project, but some of it hinges on which entrance do we start with, and that hinges on, is the county buying the other property or not? So there are still a lot of things to work out. Yeah.
So there's a question, do the two projects between the Huntington project and the quarry project?
Can you speak into your microphone? Thank you.
Sorry.
There you are.
Hello.
Thank you.
So between the two projects, will that absorb all the funds in the county food and beverage budget?
In the next couple years, it'll absorb what's in there now, but then
$2 million.
again, every month,
It'll be added
we're
on,
accruing
yeah.
additional money.
So the thought is, if there's $2 million in there now, that's actually being dedicated or pledged to these two projects, thinking that ongoingly, the next year you'll have basically another.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and the Huntington Trust does provide a stipend for the maintenance of the Monroe County Nature Preserve, and it should be sufficient to keep that property going. So that's not going to be a concern. It's just getting it ready to be
Yeah, get
for the
acquired.
public,
Yeah.
ready for the public, safely. The Quarry Park project, I think, may well require additional funding, but it would be things like potentially building in a museum for our limestone history for the county that would be indoors. Part of this is already going for an outdoor, securing outdoor historic equipment. So we're looking to develop an indoor-outdoor limestone history museum.
So it looks like by having the quarry project, it looked like you had the availability of obtaining grants that you wouldn't otherwise be able to have.
Yes, yes.
So that's a huge
right.
get that you can have federal and state grants available.
Absolutely. We actually had of course, we all know that that's all in question now, but we did have a Regional Opportunities Initiative grant, but the council had not acted quickly enough to purchase the last piece of property, and we lost that $250,000 grant. But I think in better times,
Yeah.
I mean, as this goes along, I don't know what it's going to become, but as it moves along, I could see, catering, restaurant, the Limestone Symposium, poetry readings, weddings. I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
Sky's the limit for what this could be, because it's almost 100 acres. We certainly are also going to do some, at least a small but significant educational piece on PCBs,
Yeah.
because this property does abut what is now a former Superfund site. It's a Superfund site.
Yeah.
So we're going to include that in the project, but there's so much in flux because we don't know which entrance to start at. So we're going to have to work through that. And then eventually developing a capital improvement board or 501c3 or something to manage it into the future. This is not a Monroe County Parks project, unlike the Monroe County Nature Preserve, the Huntington Trust property. This is, the quarry project is a county project.
Multiple phase.
Right.
So the Huntington project, you mind me taking
Please.
some time here? But this is one thing that the county folks are interested in, particularly the Huntington project, because it's kind of like nestled in where we are.
Yeah.
So do you have a time? I mean, if somebody asked me, well, how soon something is going to get started? Do you have any idea when the project at least will be involved with the public?
Well, we're certainly going to have updates from our Parks Department at our commissioner meetings coming up. I'm sure part of it is weather dependent if you look at the list of the things that have to get done. But the plan is to at least have it accessible to the public next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
So-
Not necessarily going to be these amenities galore, et cetera, but at least to get the walkers, birders, hikers out there.
So you got
Yeah.
parking and you can access the property and the
Yeah.
dog facility possibly and that sort of thing.
Possibly the dog facility.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I have a question about the quarry project, and I know this is all visionary and not, you know, set
Nothing's-
in stone.
No pun intended. I was gonna say.
Well put.
Thank you. Yeah.
But
Very well
so what we're visualizing here is this park would totally be funded by the food and beverage tax, correct? I mean, that's sort of like the convention center
To start.
to start.
To start. Because I think if we do, like the convention center, I think once it gets off the ground and decisions are made and we get public input and we figure out what direction to go in and see how things are popular, maybe some things aren't, that it could become in some way self-sustaining as well with some commercial input.
I was curious because I know it, taking on another huge chunk of food and beverage, especially because the county's point, I know the county cannot fund and sustain this thing either. So, I just want to kind of see that
sure.
this would be, the county would be, this would pretty much probably be where all their money would go.
For the next 2 years at least. And then from there, but the hope is when you add things in like the Limestone Symposium, or you add in other projects that have a commercial connection, or organizational foundational connection, that you end up with parts of the project that become self-sustaining as well. So that's the hope. But we do understand that the budgets are limited, but we need to start somewhere.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So these both sound like cool projects, and I take your point that you made earlier that a vote isn't necessary and it's already approved. So just for my learning benefit and for the public,
Yeah, that's why we're here.
because this does use up the bulk of the funds that have been piled up over time. So you'll accrue more money over time, but this is probably your best chance to spend 2.4 million.
Sure.
And both of these are essentially parks nature projects. I'm just curious about what kind of feedback, outreach you've had with county businesses and residents about what other kinds of uses they would like to see going forward, and thinking in particular of county business owners like Mr. Bell, whose businesses pay into this tax fund, and trying to be sure that their investment in the community pays off for them in the long run.
Yeah.
And maybe it sounds like you know a little more about that, but
So just clarifying, is this money collected by the customer?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're
Paid by the customer, collected by the.
you're the
Pay
pass-through.
1% of our customers. It's like a sales tax since it's
Yeah,
added on.
you're the pass-through, and then you
Correct.
pass that along.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I think it's similar to the idea of having a convention center downtown, and if your business is in Ellettsville, how are you going to benefit from that, right? And that's why there's a separate county tax.
sure.
Or portion of the tax collected. What I like about this is that the Huntington project is really a one-off in terms of this is a one-time expense to get it on its feet, and to then at that point the annual trust payments take over and help defray the cost of maintenance. Again, a parks project, but we really don't want to lose this gift to the residents of Monroe County.
No, not at all.
Because it was dropped out of the general obligation bond. I think the quarry project offers so many opportunities for commercial investment and interest. For example, actually putting restaurants onto the property is one option, but certainly the fact is that we see that lack of having a limestone history museum is it's such a big hole for our community, because we don't have anything like this. We don't have anything that celebrates who we are historically as Monroe County, and it is so important. So, as I mentioned last time, part of the plan involves and includes that community survey before we start the master planning process. And so it's a matter of, at that point, then prioritizing, understanding capital costs, and putting together what the community wants, both business and residents, with what we can afford to do, what we think will do well, and making those decisions along the way, and then adding to it as we go along. It's certainly not going to be like this Huntington property, a one and done.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a long-term ongoing investment, ongoing development, because it is 100 acres. It's not really buildable 100 acres, but it is 100 acres, and there are a number of quarry sites on it. So the potential is really unlimited for the economic development aspect of it.
So I have go ahead.
We've already approved the limestone, the quarry project for master plan and all that. So there's really nothing for us to approve here on that. It's really the Huntington project that you're coming to us for approval, correct?
Right. Well, for
Okay.
commentary, because
Okay.
approval isn't
Well, not
actually
approval,
legally
but-
necessary anymore, which I didn't even know last time. But yeah, so that's the only change. But we did drop like 50,000 off of the estimate for probably 2027 for that initial development, because one of the things we have to do is we have to secure historic equipment to maintain it, maintain its historic integrity, but also to keep it safe and keep people safe.
Sure.
So, so we shaved a little bit of money off of there at the outset, but we know there's going to be more investment that's going to be needed. But we'd like to see this become something self-sustaining as soon as possible as well, with commercial input and a variety of activities that could attract a range of people.
So, based on what you're saying, am I correct in understanding that county businesses have not yet been engaged?
We haven't even done the master plan survey yet, so no.
Okay, thank you.
So I had,
Oh, wait. I'll wait.
before we come,
You go ahead.
well, I just want to have I know we're just advisory, so this is just a point of interest. But with these two huge projects absorbing basically all your funds, and basically when you say what's the county going to do, you can now say simply just two things. A thought would be to somehow carve out some amount. The mind just comes to like $50,000. You say there's going to be a fund available for more than one kind of interest rather than these two projects, which would be to say that I can think of a dozen things, or just take two things that could be done to really help in a major way the restaurants and the hospitality facilities that provide these funds, whether it's helping them with marketing, which is becoming more and more digital, and not everybody has a digital experience or capabilities. That'd be one. Helping with planning,
Yeah.
hiring one person that could be our county person, because there's all kinds of people for the city which needs it and brings it along, but there's nobody for the county really. Like when I talk with the Mike at the bureau, he kind of says, I'm here for the the convention center, and that's really what I do. That means there's nobody in the in his facility that really focuses on the county, and there aren't funds for that. So I'm just saying is that there's a lot of other things that could be major help, and it's not a lot of money compared to the million,
Sure.
2 million's in there. So rather than absorbing all the money, possibly taking 90% of it and allowing 10% to go in, like, hey, what is it this advisory board could come up with if we talked with really the people that at Four Winds, us here, to say, hey, are there there's needs that you maybe haven't expressed because you didn't know where to express them, and we could kind of like as an advisory board say, here's some other priorities that could help out, because I can tell you that ever since it's a pandemic, I'll just speak for myself. We've significantly struggled
Sure.
to say I hate to say it on the public record, but the bottom line is that ever since we got back in business in 20, we're still about 40% capacity.
Yeah.
I'm open 4 days rather than 7.
Yeah.
Down the street, the Scenic View is open just Friday and Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
And there's a lot of reasons for that don't relate necessarily to the pandemic, of course. But when you're struggling that much, sometimes it just takes a little bit to make a major difference.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I just say that where we would go would be only
Right.
here. I can't imagine where you would go because you don't have the ability to get grants any longer. The federal government's shut off all the kind of funding that was available. So where do you go for some small bit to make a difference? I'm just saying.
So no, and I appreciate that point, and I think since COVID, the inflation and everything's changed. Everything's changed. You know that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But here's the thing. It's interesting that you raised Visit Bloomington because it's supposed to be Visit Bloomington in Monroe County, and the innkeeper's tax pays into the Convention and Visitors Commission, which pays for management of the convention center, marketing, which includes marketing, but also Visit Bloomington and Monroe County. So I think one of the first things that needs to happen, and I will, Ms. Vidal and I could pass this along to the council member. There seems to be some confusion about who the council member is who's on the CVC board. It's either Councilor Henry or Councilor Crossley. But one of them is on there, and I think we should ask them to raise this issue with the CVC, and I'm sure between us, we can do that, because because that is also county money that's supposed to go back out to the county. This isn't just about let's support the convention center and the city. It is supposed to be Bloomington and Monroe County. So I think that that's an excellent point. I don't, a plan is a plan, and a plan is it's a starting point. We have to account based on state statute for what we think we're going to spend money on. I hear what you're saying, and I look forward to getting further into this project planning a bit more so that and then getting that community engagement done, and then we can reshuffle and figure out what we want to invest in. And it may be that it turns out to be $100,000 toward the limestone equipment, and $700,000 then gets into a plan for something else. Who knows? So it's open, but we do have to have a plan.
Sure.
So I appreciate it. Thank you.
So I have a question. So I think Commissioner Thomas brought up the $2.455 million for the total. I wonder if you could give us the breakdown of that amount.
Okay, so
Just so we get that out here. Thanks.
glasses with me.
Money.
So
I think I'm done
for
already.
the Monroe County Nature Preserve, let me give you. Ask the city any of these questions, but go ahead, it's fine. I'm ready to answer these.
Yeah, I haven't been here to ask those questions. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Just let me get a chance.
No, this is all good. I just
Get
have
you
to
to put something
find
on
my
the agenda.
webpage.
It's okay. Maybe we can go on to something else and come back. Would that be better for you?
It's here. I got
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Thank you. This for the we'll start with the nature preserve since that's number one on the list. So the first items include toxic material. This is regarding demolition
I'm
of
just
structures.
more interested in the total of each project amount. So you mentioned the 2.455. I just want the total breakdown
Okay.
for each project. That's
Got it.
That's I
Okay.
don't need every line item.
Okay. So Monroe County Nature Preserve is $905,000.
Thank you.
For the quarry project, we have 750,000 allocated for developing a master plan, which includes community survey and consultant of sorts, and site safety improvement at 800,000. And that relates to access points, parking, but also the equipment, securing the equipment so that it doesn't.
Got it. I
on
appreciate the break.
people.
I appreciate the breakdown. Thank you.
Yes. There you go.
Thanks.
It's on there.
Perfect. I just wanted to get it out in the
Oh
public
yeah,
record.
no, I think that's good. I forget that I did not get this uploaded till late last night, so.
Well, I appreciate all the detail and your patience in answering questions. And I just, I guess in closing, I would just say, even though these are pass-through funds from county businesses, they are the face of it. And their success fuels the success of the funding for any future efforts you would do. So, I encourage our friends at the county to keep talking to business owners and residents about what would fuel the growth of those businesses that provide this revenue. And, our experience in the city, and I'm sure yours has been too, that, we assume that tourism in general is going to be good, and that when people come to town for an event, it's going to have an impact on our businesses, but it really varies by event. We have events that, have a smaller group of people come to town, and boy, they go out and they eat and they stay in hotels and they go to events. And then other events, people come to town and you can't really tell if you're a business owner on Kirkwood that there's any boost in traffic. So as you build these great public, beautiful places, I think it'll be important to make sure that, what does that tourism really translate to in dollars, and can you help it along? So I appreciate your efforts in thinking about how can you integrate the business community in the success of these and support their growth so that you can continue to get some great funding to continue doing more great projects.
Absolutely. I think it is that collaborative relationship that develops over time. And yes, you see one really great successful event, you replicate it, but you don't want to replicate it too often because then it's going to start dwindling in success. And, it's a dance, as you know. So.
Sydney, is it possible to have maybe it exists, I just don't know where it is, a directory of the restaurants and the people that pay into the fund for the city and also the county? Do we have a directory? So if I want to contact, say, the people,
the auditor's office will have that information because they collect the money. Yes.
So do they have like a directory so I could go into the auditor's office and say, can I have the directory for the restaurants that pay in and the hotels that pay in for each one of them? There you are.
Sorry.
Yeah. She said, like, I'm over here.
We do. I will have to look into getting that information to you. It is actually a confidentiality agreement that a few of us signed. So I'll run that through legal, and if they can confirm that it's acceptable for me to distribute that, I'm happy to.
Okay. Would that be something to be digital, so you just download it, or would I need to come to your office and you just give me a directory? Is that the possibility? But you don't know yet.
You can do both or either, whatever your preference is. I'm happy to provide however you would like.
Well, if I got my druthers, like a nice little folder. You're gonna ask me.
Is that paper?
Yeah, it's hard copy.
Oh, okay.
I can actually look at it.
I'm happy to.
That'd be awesome.
If I'm able to, yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. I'd like to contact the people at Four Winds or whatever and just say, hey, give me some input.
Yeah.
And here's a form or whatever, so we have some ideas.
Sure.
They're actual, genuine responses as opposed to me just thinking them up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If possible, I would also like that, but electronically.
I think I
not
would like it.
physical.
In some version, I would like it.
You can tell the difference between the two of us, old school.
Yeah, I could do paper, actually.
And I think just keep in mind that the Convention and Visitor Center Commission, is paid for out of innkeeper's tax, which is the tax on hotel rooms across the county. And that is a really good source for projects and assisting with tourism related small short-term projects, advertising, marketing, et cetera. And I really think we need to develop that, and they're going to be quicker. right? They're going to be able to help you more quickly.
Yeah.
So-
As an aside, I wanted to have a little festival. I wanted to have a 3-day festival. And all of a sudden I got caught in the mire of what it takes to do a festival. It's not an easy thing. And then I found out there's a whole program in Nashville. I mean, they've been doing festivals obviously for a long time.
Yeah.
And we have the Lotus Festival, which is unique. But I thought, well, a county festival. So then I found out that's a huge undertaking. And if you want to, there are people that do it. I mean, at Nashville, there's a commission that basically put on their festival. I thought, well, that'd be funny, a county. And then I thought, well, wait a minute, we are the commission. We could do this.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be us because it's outside of our purview, but that doesn't mean we couldn't create something.
Yeah.
So let's talk. Send me a note. Let's talk. I
Yeah.
think it's a great idea.
2 new
Can I-
ideas, a director and a commission. What do you
Can
think?
I just clarify? I mean, we're not voting on this, right?
That's correct.
So what is the purpose of our group with this? I mean, we approve expenditures and we're hearing about an expenditure, but we're not voting on it. Is that right?
Unfortunately,
We have legal here.
we don't have legal here right now.
Okay.
But the way that the ordinance is written for this commission, it is advisory. But it is ideas like this that we just heard that may not even be related directly to food and beverage money, but related to other
Right,
things. So
yeah.
I appreciate the having the opportunity to have
Well,
those
you know,
discussions.
Julie, if you want, I mean, obviously we could vote just to make a statement if you want to put a motion.
Well, I was just, so last meeting we voted, but that was not necessary.
It wasn't necessary, as it turned
Okay.
out. Right.
But not necessarily unhelpful.
It could happen. It doesn't mean it can't happen. It just means it doesn't have to happen. So
Right.
I'm gonna leave
We're
it at that.
I guess
advisory.
I'm just a little confused. I thought we were approving expenditures. I know we don't come up with these plans and they all go through a bunch of other bodies before it, but I thought we did vote to approve. And we're hearing about, I mean, at least for I believe the first time about the nature preserve expenditure here. So I guess at some point I'd like some clarification on that, but obviously we're not going to vote on this now.
Would you prefer to vote?
No, I think I don't have enough information. So I'm just confused. I'm stating that.
It's also confusing for me, but I'm also always confused by the weird ping pong back and forth
Yeah.
of, it comes from our city council to here and then back to city. That process is confusing. So maybe at one of our future meetings, we could have city legal and county legal give us an overview of, remind us of what is our raison d'etre and the extent of our powers and all of that.
That would be a perfect segue to our next item, the meeting schedule for next year. And maybe we could
an
invite
agenda
you.
item.
On the agenda.
I think that's a great suggestion. And here's why, because we do have a capital improvement board, but this group was formed before the capital improvement board was formed, right? This group was formed when the food and beverage tax was first collected, because we have to follow the state statute on that. So I think it would be a great agenda item to have that discussion. I don't know typically what we do for the meeting schedule, and you've been here as long as I have, so correct me if I'm wrong.
I've been here since the
Me
beginning.
too. Me too. We're founding members.
But just from my memory, and I'm not going to say that what happened was we actually were a voting board, and the what happened was they changed the statute, and they all this about having
is the state.
the state.
Thank you.
And that's when we had to start doing these reports and telling when we were spending money, because they'd had some problems with malfeasance in other places, that they hadn't spent their food and beverage money correctly and blah, 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 blah. And that's when this kind of got, as they put in all these requirements that the county had to do to keep the tax enacted, they took away our responsibility. This boards, they made us advisory, and everything is predicated on these reports that come from I don't know if they come from the council or if they come from the commission, but that's how we became not the end all be all. We have to approve this.
Or
Yeah.
was it they couldn't spend it unless we approved. So we had like a veto power. We didn't actually enact it, but we could vote it down if we felt it was not appropriate. Is that,
Correct.
That's the way I understood it.
And
Is that, but that's no longer the case.
That is no longer the case.
Right. And yeah, and you raised some interesting points about how we got here. It's a historical thing. But I will say that I do think that we typically don't meet until there is something that changes, and based on where we're at with our current plans, and yes, this board does have to vote on the financial plan, right? The expenditures and the, right? So we voted on the annual report, sorry, the annual report.
We vote on the annual
We did vote
report.
on that. But I will say that typically it's prompted by the need to meet to approve something, and that will probably come out of the city. And I'm okay not setting a date unless we want to set a date for maybe our next year's meeting.
Yes, that is what
Yes,
I was
I think
referring
that-
to.
Okay.
I did speak with Commissioner Feidel before the meeting, and when we spoke about 3 meetings that all fall on the second Friday in the month after a completed quarter. I propose that we just set these 3 meetings, and if there's no reason to meet, we can cancel them. But just to make sure that it's on everyone's schedule and we
Get it
can all
on
meet
people's
there.
calendars.
So you have,
Would be great.
okay, so share those, please. I'm
They are
sorry.
Friday, April 10th, 2026 at 11 a.m. Friday, July 10th, 2026 at 11 a.m. and Friday, October 9th, 2026 at 11 a.m.
If the
My
July
meeting was when?
Yes, July 10th.
Thank you.
So this is the second Friday in the month after a completed quarter.
Okay. And then the last meeting is,
Friday, October 9th.
okay. And at that one, you would have to have the annual report. So it may be that's our only meeting next year.
Potentially.
Okay.
I think the staff honestly has trouble sometimes getting everybody's schedule pinned down. So we'd like to get something on the calendar
Sure.
and have people
You
save
can always
these
cancel
dates.
it. Yeah,
That's
you can
right.
always cancel it.
Everybody loves the canceled
Sure.
meeting. So
Yeah,
let's go
yeah.
put it on the calendar.
I love
and
the
if we
Friday
don't
meeting.
need it, then we'll take it off.
Cancel a Friday meeting.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not really clear on why quarters, but
I think some of the staff told me that they had done quarters before. I don't know how long ago. I haven't been here.
That was probably when we had to. And my recollection is we only came together when we had to approve some sort of expenditure.
right.
And just for my fellow restaurateurs here who are going, why in the world am I sitting on this board when we really can't do anything? I think it's very important for the restaurants to know what's going on.
Right, that's a
And
pretty really
even though we can't say no,
Mm-hmm.
it's very important that we as representatives of our industry sit here and say, no, I don't think so. That's a bunch of hooey.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to say that. So that is why I continue to serve on this board.
But it sounds like those comments are better served for meetings that have already happened, really. And we need to be more proactive about those things if we don't agree with something. Because at this point, there's nothing we can do about it. It seems like.
I think quarterly meetings will give us the opportunity to ask questions and
Yeah.
really stay more up to date on how the funds are being decided on.
Well, even more importantly, maybe meeting before the commission, because really Julie is our connection with the commission, and what she can take back. Like the advisory board voted and said this, and they would like to have $100,000 cut out in da 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 da. She could say something that we
Right.
affirmatively did,
Right.
or they said it was $25,000, whatever
Right.
the amount was.
Right.
We came up with an idea, and it was able to be expressed to the commission because she was here. If we never meet and she can't take anything back, it's just her idea that she thinks we might want to approve.
Right. Right.
And why wouldn't we want to be the quorum,
Right.
let's just say?
Well, and I'm hopeful that you all can continue to serve also as a conduit into the community as we once we have a consultant and and then we start that process of bringing the public in to provide input on the Corey project, that could be really significant. But I have gears spinning in my head because of what you suggested. So I really would like to talk to you soon about that. So give me a call.
Awesome. Because I will say, like in all politics, you get old enough, you realize being able to vote and vote to negative, to vote down a veto is probably very difficult to get done. But to be persuasive, if you've got a good idea, can be very powerful.
Yep.
And that's where I think getting the input from people like Letty, by the way, who've been here from the beginning, who have a lot of good ideas, and frankly, old folks like myself, who've been around for a while, can have input if we have it properly. It's all about the timing. If it was after the fact, well, then we did nothing. And I think that's what Galen was saying, is if it's after the fact, well, why meet? Because it's already been decided. We're just an afterthought.
Oh.
I think what we want to say is like, well, give us some opportunity to kind of get some better input, and we'll give better input, which could be persuasive and give power to your point of view. Like if we really love the dog program going into Huntington, then you ought to know that. If we wanted instead to have a soccer field, you ought to know that, and we ought to be responsible for giving that input.
Right.
And right now, it's not happening.
Right. And we can't do athletic fields at.
Yeah. Well,
but anyway, but I want to answer. But also remember that you have access to a number of other points of resource in the community to help your small business, and I encourage you to take advantage of that as well. We have Christopher MG here from the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, I'm sure he'd love to have a discussion about what he could do to help you out. So I think there are a number of those resources available. In addition to what goes on here. So it's really, the only thing that we've really spent money on so far in the county, and that's why we have amassed such a large amount of money, is the grant program that we did for small businesses during COVID. And it included a couple of social service agencies inside the city of Bloomington that do encourage tourism, which we hoped would help filter over and encourage people to spend money on local businesses. So I think we as a community are so much stronger when we work together, we've had to overcome a lot, but I don't see that ending. I don't see these, rainbows in the sky coming for anybody. And that's really hard. And so we have to figure out what we can do to keep our businesses going and make sure that we're all vital.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. It is approaching 12, and I do think that we, in the spirit of timeliness, should wrap up our comments and go to
just have
public
one
comment.
more.
Great.
So, thinking about the issue with finding out after the fact, I respect that comment a lot. And so I wonder if it would be prudent to think that the commissioners, whoever who might be deciding things like this elsewhere, before we find out about it, if they could give us a heads up that that's coming down the pike, right?
Well,
Is that-
and city council the same, but of course you made the decision on a bond to pay for the convention center. So you really probably don't have a lot coming forward, but we certainly can keep everybody apprised.
That's correct.
I think that would be great. And then whoever from here or other people that connected that might have something to say about it could attend the appropriate meeting where the decisions are made. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Thank you.
The heads up about that.
So just to the matter, question, which is scheduling.
Yes.
I would be delighted to put 3 meetings a year on my schedule. That would be fine. And if they are these dates or a little bit earlier to accommodate some other important meetings where we might want to give input before those happen, great. And I fully support the idea of let's get them all on the calendar now, because I'm sure like many others, my calendar is terrible. And so
Can we we
be,
so
it would
move?
be great to
Can
just
I so move?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the 2026 FabTech meeting schedule for 3 meetings, Friday, April 10th at 11 a.m., Friday, July 10th at 11 a.m., and Friday, October 9th at 11 a.m. Can we please get a roll call, or I guess we don't have to do a roll call vote.
Aye.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Great, that passes, and I know it's not on the
I guess got to you.
schedule, but I do think we should probably just have an opportunity for public comment. So if there's anyone in chambers, please raise your hand, and if you are on Teams, please also raise your hand. Any takers? Please state your name, and you will have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Christopher G. from the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce. I enjoyed the conversation today. I thought you were actually a voting authority, like Mr. Cassidy did as well. So I learned something today that you were advisory now. And I think the one thing when you're talking about the food and beverage tax is it's for tourist purposes. So having that lens on what is going to lure tourists or be an attraction to tourists, out of towners is, and what that does is support local businesses and the food and beverage tax, so it's self-serving and self-rotating. So I think we should have that lens, especially on the Huntington Preserve properties. We move forward with that. And, looking at the county and seeing if there might be some other little things that this might pay for that would sort of enhance that. I know Ms. Whitmore over at the Parks does a wonderful job, especially with the award-winning job the county did with the ARPA funds on doing some karst improvements. I was talking with Cutter's travel parent, and they host half of their tournaments at Karst Park, so they are home. As a parent of a travel baseball parent, we have 0 here in Monroe County that I did of the 10 tournaments. I'm at North Vernon 3 times of those, and I never knew where North Vernon was until it was on schedule. So people would rather come to Monroe County. They'd rather come to Bloomington. So just keep that lens in mind as we move forward with this. I appreciate your time. Good meeting today.
Do we have any other takers in person or on Teams? Great, then that will bring us to our final portion of the agenda, which is adjournment. And I adjourn this meeting. Thank you all for being here.
Good job. 3 minutes early.